chapter 39, that's actually chapter 42, Dark and L must fight or die. You asked for it, now you get it. The action-packed battle between Dark Yagami and L, which will decide once and for all the world. The world what? The world coming back together, the world being dead forever, everybody gets transported to a new world, a la Dragon Ball Z. You have to explain more than just the world to me. Also, there will be a surprise appearance by Blood, which isn't really surprising because we've been talking about him showing up the entire time and showed up last chapter and the chapters before it, before killing T.S. J for some reason. And I think we killed Ryuk. Yeah, we shot Ryuk in the wing and he bled to death. I remember now. Dark stared at L and L stared back, and then Dark stared more and won the staring contest. Well, that was an awfully short battle. Okay, squeaked L. We won't win this war with a staring contest 'cause that's boring and we need action, he said, taking out a machine sword. It was a machine gun, but instead of guns there were swords that span round and round, shooting little swords everywhere. And one went in Dark's Cheerios. When did he get a bowl of cereals? Also, chainsaw shooting rockets. Johnny Extreme! You think you can action? Well, two can play at this game. Dark roared, but secretly he was pissed 'cause Dark had a machine sword too, and he was dead proud of it. If he was dead proud of it, that means he's not proud at all, because his pride died. And L just brought his at the Salvation Army. How do you know this? Did he have a receipt? Were you happen to be there just for shits and giggles and saw him purchasing it? So instead, Dark got out a crosshammer. Whatever the fuck that is. This was a crossbow, except instead of arrows, it shot hammer. MC Hammer? Can't touch this. Dun, 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 dun. Roar! Roared L. Wait, he said roar? Roared L, charging Dark machine guns, shooting everywhere, and punching holes in the walls and stabbing all the zombies. What zombies? It was a shame because the zombies would have learned to be normal people again. How do you know this? But now they never would, because they were double dead. No, they were already dead. You just made them stop moving. Sword sliced against Dark and gave him a haircut, and there were scars all over his face, but they made him look even tougher. I'm sure they did. And L got scared and dropped the sword. Now it was Dark's turn. He didn't bother with the crosshammer because his fists were harder. Did they turn into diamonds or something? I guess you're playing Minecraft and can craft diamond gauntlets or something. And he started raining down pulp on L. Well, that's rude. You should at least give him some orange juice before you give him the pulp, too. Can't really drink pulp. Bits of candy were splattering everywhere and covering the walls in sugar. Why? How? If Mello was a Queen Anne, does that mean L is, I don't know, rock candy or something? And Might Yagami started licking it up, despite the fact that he should be dead now, because he thought Misa was his girlfriend, even though clearly she had been married to Sayu this entire time. Well, I guess this fic doesn't really want to deal with bestiality, though some people would have just shoehorned that in there as well. Does it make sense that this story should be about bestiality? No? Who gives a fuck? Zoophilia is not on the menu, apparently. But killing characters at random and then bringing them back for no reason, as if I never killed them off to start with, is. Yeah, it makes perfect sense. Unfortunately, the candy went all hard and squishy over L and made armor, because he can regenerate the candy his body lost. That's what happens when you have high blood sugar, people. WTF, spat Dark. He started licking the candy to melt it. So wait, he just went over to L and grabbed him and started licking him to melt the candy. Wouldn't it have made more sense just to turn everything that produces heat on? Candy kinda has a melting point. To melt it, but L liked it and started groaning and getting happy, so Dark stopped. Oh, whatever, I will just Death Note you. Dark yelled and grabbed his Death Note and wrote L. Nothing happened. Well, of course not. That's not his whole name. You know what his whole name is. Are you dead? Asked Dark. Lol, no, lolled L, flipping the bird through the armor. I have a royal life. Wait, but you were getting turned on by it, but apparently it's shielding you because you would have to. Whatever. I have a royal life note back in the base, and there is a robot writing my name in there 100,000 times in a second. I am unkillable. That is evil. Not really, that's smart. Gasped Dark, because it was. No, it's not. Why would you do such an evil thing? Because I don't want to die and it's not evil to want to live? This is why, grinned L evilly, except Dark couldn't see his face, so he couldn't see the evil grin, so he thought L was dead sad. Stop putting dead in front of everything. I will come over there into the past and murder you. The bits of candy started to crack, and an evil red glow came through the cracks and smokes and an eggy smell like L just farted. Ew. Which he did cause of the candy, but not this time. So, wait, you're telling me he did fart, but I guess that's where the candy shield was coming out? Did you shit your mail out too? 'Cause I guess you haven't checked your post in a while. L's muscles, I guess he borrowed them from Edward, were bulging like no muscles ever seen. So they're really big muscles. He has a seafood fetish, I see. And they pulsed with electric and magic and strength. The bits of candy melted and caught fire. I don't know if that's a thing that could happen, but okay. And L, who was now like an inch taller, stumbled forwards covered in fire and lava, and his hair was all wilds, because it wasn't originally. And 2 fires burned in his eyes, which kind of hurt, but now he was a monster, so he didn't care. So he became Ghost Rider, but with a seafood buffet. This is my true form, L said. I made an evil deal with the Shinigami devil. There is no Shinigami devil, who is eviler than the normal devil. You do. Death Note takes place in a atheist setting, right? There is no heaven, there is no hell. There is only nothing once you die. He gave me Shinigami eyes. Then they would have been red and you would have actually been B. And Shinigami ears, which aren't a thing that happens. And Shinigami horns. How would horns benefit you? And a Shinigami man thing. So they took your penis away. And now you have no genitals, you look like a Ken doll. He said, unzipping his pants and showing it off. It was very spiky and evil looking. Why would it be spiky and evil looking? Does it talk too? Because there are movies that have talking vaginas and talking dicks. But also quite big, but still not as big as Dark's. Because nothing is as big or good as yours. So he was kind of disappointed, and when he killed Dark, he would go to the Shinigami devil and get a refund. On what? Did you pay with money? Usually the requirement is a soul. You have not got a chance? He grinned, and his teeth were so sharp he accidentally ate his lips. So he looked like Nemesis. You can't kill me, Dark yelled. I knew this day would come, and to save the world, I put a nuclear on my heart. Also, when did L have the time to make a deal with the Shinigami to get all this crap? Nuclear on your heart, so is it something like Tony Stark with the reactor thingy in his chest? He did the smiley thing and pointed to to his heart because L didn't have one. How do you know this? So he didn't know where it was. I'm pretty sure he was human. The multiple times he died, he was pretty much human. And if he didn't have a heart, how could he have died from heart attacks? If you kill me, the nuclear will explode, and we will both die. The world is already dead. Multiple times. I don't care, eviled the giant glowing mushroom man. When did he turn into a mushroom? Waving his toffee-flamed arms around like fireworks. He punched his arm into Dark's chest and pulled out the nuclear and ate it for some reason. The nuclear went off in his gut, but all that did was make him like the Hulk, and even stronger, which is impossible. Also, if he is a Shinigami monster thing, it's not going to affect him anyway. It's impossible for him to die until his time runs out. He jumped on Dark, and with his evil Shinigami devil given powers and the sinful power of nuclears, which aren't sinful at all, he was actually stronger than Dark Yagami. Dark was tough, so he didn't cry as L headbutted him in the head and butt somehow. But it really hurt, and whenever Dark tried to punch L, he just got his hand burned by the burning sugar that glooped like lava over L's body. A long way away, there was a bang like a robot exploding, but no one heard, so they carried on. Then you shouldn't have mentioned it. Either somebody heard it enough to know that it was far off and away, or it wasn't something they heard, so you shouldn't have mentioned it. Let's take this fight into the sky for some reason, whistled L as he flew into the sky. Dark couldn't fly, so whatever. So he went to Knight's body and stole her jetpack. When did she have such a thing? Also, you used to be a Shinigami. Also, why would L do this? Why wouldn't he just kill you? And zipped into the sky. They traded some punch and drank it. Well, that was nice of them to have like a final toast to each other before they killed each other. And then they got down to the combat. L made his hair all spiky like a Super Saiyan. That's not how you spell that. And tried to stab Dark with the spiky bits. Dark had to cut his hair with scissors. That's also not how you spell that. Made of gold. Dark did a kick at L's man thing, but it was so small that he missed. You're a dick. A very small penis, smaller than L's. L spat at Dark, and his spit caught fire, and that was only on accident. Dark punched L really hard on the nose, and blood sprayed everywhere. L did a 20 times punch where he grew 20 arms, and they all punched Dark at the same time. This would be impossible, but okay. The shockwave was so big that it cut the oceans, which don't exist anymore, in half like an orange skin and peeled them off the planet. And all that was left were the sharks and the electric eels, and they evolved into electric sharks. Somehow they could crossbreed, and ate the leftover zombies, which would be impossible to do unless the zombies wandered into the oceans. How are you still alive? asked L when the dust cleared. Because I have the power to love in my heart. That's bullshit! And nothing can defeat that, which is so much wrong in that one statement. And then his jetpack ran out of gas. Oh, butts, he swore without swearing. Swore Dark as he fell like an asteroid to the ground. Ha ha ha, I have you now, Darkest Taylor Yagami. I'm pretty sure that name has changed multiple times. L groaned as he swooped to the ground. He took his machine sword out, but turned it back into a normal sword because it had a normal sword form, like the Tenseiga and Tenseiga, for drama, and held it over Dark's eyeballs, leaning over him and spraying blood out of his horns. You will regret the day you ever messed with L. Taylor. That is not your name. The greatest detective to ever live, and his bad British Gramps Watari, L said. and it's underlined for some reason. Not so fast. And a vampire stake burst out of El's chest and half killed him. He's not a vampire. He stopped being evil, and the horns went away, and his man thing stopped being spiky. What just happened to me? El yelped as he stopped being evil. He wasn't evil in the first place. He was pretty neutral, more like neutral evil, kind of. I just happened, Imther Frigger, shouted Samantha, stabbing him again in the other side of his heart. Overkill! Thanks, wife, Dark said, standing up and giving her a sexy makeout. Okay. Number 2, thanks for blowing up the Life Note robot. Didn't she die or something? I don't even remember or care anymore. No prob, husband. That went just as planned, she said, putting her hands in both their pants. Putting her hands in both their pants. So they're wearing the same pair of pants, and she put her hands in them and getting happy. So she's jerking him off while at the same time pressing her own buttons. Okay. You puny humans and your sexing bursts out with laughter. Blood, you think you have experienced the joys of sexing act, but in fact you are rank amateurs compared to a god of death like me, for I have tasted the fruits of the true sexing that can only be felt by a god. But enough of this. But Dark was the Shinigami King. He's been a god. He's had sex as a god, so he would know this crap. But enough of this. Dark, you, me, we must fight. Oh my god, that was epic. Even I was excited. I was the dude writing it. Tune in next time to see what will happen, and also for more sexy times, because that totally makes fucking sense for a fight scene to have, right? Chapter 40, that's actually chapter 43. Blood Heart Samantha. Surprise face. Hey guys, the final fight is nearly here. There will be a kick-ass twist at the end, and which I think you just spoiled. And I've got it all planned out, but I'm not telling. Perhaps Watari is their dad, as an over there. Or El was good all along. Or Dark was a ghost like in Fight Club. Who knows? It's you, declared Dark, doing his face in a scrunchy way. I guess we forgot about the other Shinigami that's attached to the refrigerator. Doing his face in a scrunchy way. Yes, my apprentice, said Blood. You are the strongest man in the planet. In it, not on it. I guess that would make sense since it blew up. And that is why we must fight. You are the owner of my royal death note, which actually wasn't yours, but okay. And I want it back for you may own my note, but you will never own my soul, which people don't actually have because Death Note is an atheist reality. Yo dude, shouted Samantha, and she flicked back her hair and did the British finger thing with 2 fingers. Hushcho, if you watch these videos, care to fill me in what they might be talking about? Because the only thing I can think of is just putting your index and middle finger together and holding them up like a salute, or devil fingers. Rocking out, yeah. Why don't you just eat a blood banana and chill, you fuck ass? The blood banana has gone extinct because of the fire. No, it's because they took you to Russia and got them all. Duh. But it's definitely extinct now because you blew up the planet. Twice. Because of the fire and the volcanoes and the devastation that has been brought by the explosive counter-reaction of the broken shatters of that scrubby space station that once was my home, and I ate the rest. Even though they should have come from the Shinigami realm and not Earth, but whatever. We can come to an agreement, screamed Samantha. I was going to ask that malevolent clone you called Knight Yagami to clone me somehow, of the delecifant fruits, but alas, she had been killed by bomb. Not by a bomb, but somebody called bomb. Yeah, whatever. Dark spat out his gum that he was apparently chewing the entire time, and it hit blood on the men thing, or Shinigami thing. Get it? We're doing this again, I see. It caught fire and melted, and melty gum went everywhere. Because when you catch fire, it explodes into a billion pieces. Also, how did it set fire? Blood isn't on fire. Kick his arse, Samantha said, 'cause she's British. Be him and I will let you sex me for the first time because I am a virgin. You married Dark sometime that wasn't talked about in this story at all. But you and him haven't had sex yet, which, is highly possible. And, of course, keeping your chastity until you marry is also quite possible. But considering this story, I find it hard to swallow. Pun not intended. Oh, ho, ho! You are quite the ladies' man, aren't you, my old-haired young chummy? Laughed Blood as he stared squintily at Samantha's chest for some reason. It was the biggest chest in the world. Well, of course it is. Everybody else is dead. But she didn't tell people 'cause they would think she was showing off. There's no one to tell. You are the only person left, aside from Dark. And L's dead, apparently, 'cause you killed him. Those are some nice bounders, girlie. I would like to do sexy things with them. Piss off, you creep, swore Samantha. Leave my wife alone, you freak. Dark was getting so angry that if the world wasn't already on fire, it would have exploded again, because he has the ability to do that. But when I kill you, she will be my wife. Isn't that right, wifey, darlingest? Yeah, 'cause you would be the only dude left, but whatever. That won't happen, 'cause my handsome husband will kick your arse, and then I will sex with him. Very well. We have chattered enough, my smartly named dude who is Dark by name, but also by nature and also by hair color. The time has come, this time again, for the violent counter-reaction that will spell doom for one of us and the hottest sexing in history. Or so you say. Nobody is there really to record it or say otherwise. For the other who does not die. Assuming she wants to do you. That is also a factor. Dark tore open his shirt, for some reason, and revealed his muscly abs, for some reason. Blood poured through his veins. That's the wrong kind of vein. Though maybe it makes sense considering the blood poured instead of pumped through his veins, as in vanity. Though clearly the author, insert character, and the author himself, is very vain. Blue liked licking blood, and when he killed Dark, he was going to take his blood out and clone it, for it was the finest blood like wine, and it tasted like candy floss made of nails. Ew. Probably an accurate description to a vampire, but that's not really appealing otherwise. Let's do this thing. Dark ran as fast as he can at Blood and head-butted him in the chest. However, Blood, then wouldn't it be more like tackled him, but whatever. However, Blood's chest was covered in spikes and spiders, and they bit Dark, and Blood was safe. Next, it was Blood's turn, because you take turns during a fight like an RPG. His knuckles were made of knuckle dusters. But he put more dusters on them to be sure, and slammed a punch at Dark and knocked him into the air. WTF, screamed Dark, and he got a rocket out and stuck it to his back. He just pulled that shit out from somewhere. He pushed the turbo button, and 2 nuclear jets zoomed him back at Blood for some reason. He did a headbutt again, but this time he got a face full of blood, mohawk, and blood. No, he got face full of Mohawk and blood. Mohawk and blood. Boo, ha, he, ho, my befuddled, ineffective battling chum, Blood explained. You cannot beat me because I have the strength of 1,000 glittering angels, which don't exist in this universe because it's atheist. To prove this power, he spat at the ground. His spit bubbled and sizzled like bacon fat on a pan and smelt like it also. So he's been eating bacon? I thought he'd been eating blood bananas. Or blood in general. Then it shot like acid into the Earth's core, which really wasn't all that difficult since the core was exposed from the nuclear bombs. The core caught fire. It's already on fire. And stretched like a balloon. And the Earth was ripped to shreds.
You know, I'm just gonna blow up the world. Thank you, asshole.
Which it already was, so this is happening for a third time, and turned into a black hole. I'm not 100% sure if that's how black holes happen. It's been a while since I studied black holes. The black hole was sucky. Get it? Because it destroyed the world, and then the rest of the universe was sucking into it. Not exactly how a black hole works. Like water down the bath hole, but this wasn't water. It was time and space and plants, planets and stars and galaxies and pigeons, which are already dead, are all dying. Again. Dart grabbed Samantha and rocketed up away from the big hole in space that sucked like a vacuum cleaner that was possessed by Satan, but it was sucking so hard they could barely escape. And then they suffocated in space after they froze to death. You murderer! Well, duh, he's a Shinigami. It's like eating a cow. It's the same thing for a Shinigami. You know, humans eat cows, Shinigami eat humans. Come on, shouted Dark, shaking his fist, but Blood just laughed and ate the blood banana galaxy, because there was such a thing. I am the murderer? I beg to differ. Who assassinated Knight Yagami in cold blood? Who shot Watari with a laser gun? Who fed Nia poisoned toast? Well, that was your mother. And threw him into a box full of poisonous moths? That never happened. I think you will find that was you. Actually, it wasn't. At all. But you blew up the Earth, you monster. Samantha said something, but she was in space, and in space no one can hear you scream. And she also died, due to suffocation and freezing to death. Ah, ha ha, well, whatever. Now all that's left to do is watch your generously bosomed wife fall into the black hole. Thought you were going to have sex with her. How can you have sex with her if she's dead in a black hole? Not so fast, said Samantha, and she said a portal spell because she knows magic, and portaled to the Shinigami world for some reason. They landed with a bum, so they picked up some hobo along the way, who apparently was the only other guy that survived the Earth blowing up 3 times in a row. And all the other Shinigami turned to stare at them. They had never seen a human before, which is a lie. A complete lie. Dark became the Shinigami king. He was most definitely human before he became a Shinigami. Then Sayu became the Shinigami queen. And then she had her wife Misa with her. Misa never turned into a Shinigami. She just existed to be with her wife in the Shinigami realm where she ruled. They never seen a human before who wasn't dead, and they all crowded around and messed up his hair for some reason. Your wife is very pretty, said a fat one who looked like a cow made of gravestones. Can I eat your lungs? Said another who was slimy and smelly and smelled like slime. I'ma let you finish, but Yotsuba was the best Kira of all time. I'm sure he was, joked another Shinigami who was, what? Kane West, because he wrote all his songs in a death note, and that's why he kills. What? You can't kill somebody with a death note by writing lyrics into it. You kill people by writing their full names into it. Sekira was there too because Joseph J took him to save him before she died. No, she didn't. And I think Sekira was murdered. I don't even remember what the fuck happened. Yeah, that's how not important it was. Sekira was there too because Joseph J took him to save him before she died, except it was after because she can time travel. Well, that's iffy. But he was an old dude covered in wrinkles, which he's not. So he just stood on the side cheering. That's also a lie that you just proved again, because Sekira's there and he's definitely not dead apparently, because Teosif J saved him and took him to the Shinigami realm. So he's actually the second. Misa would have been the first, Sekira would have been the second, you and your wife would have been third and fourth. It's not like this matters, but I'm stating it now because I have been at least paying attention to some things in this fic. Blood landed in the Shinigami world. Here he was weaker because he couldn't blow it up. And blood bananas grew everywhere. I thought they were just for the king, and I thought they only grew in Russia, on Earth. So he kept munching his face off on them and forgetting to fight. So he was eating his own face because he was smashing his face into the blood bananas so he would eat his face off of them. He wouldn't eat the blood bananas, just his own face. He remembered. Everyone went to the battle ring, which was a football stadium because Shinigami liked to play football. But the grass was cut up and replaced with blood. The Shinigami devil, because he just happened to be there, I guess, rang the bell, and it was time to fight. Blood jumped on Dark and started wailing on him with a real okay, the fic is gonna go with it. Started wailing on him with a real wail. And Dark was getting squittered to a pulp. "No, Dark, no," shouted Samantha. "You had better get ready for our wedding," shouted Blood. He called over a Shinigami who had a death cloth, and she stitched names in it to kill people. That's not how things work in the Shinigami realm. And had her make a wedding dress out of it. "You will look so pretty, and we shall dance all through the night and make sweet passionate love all over the battle ring, which will be renamed the sex ring and filled with wine, and everyone will watch and get all turned on too." "Not so fast, chump!" Dark roared and kneed Blood in the man thing. Blood yipped like a little girl and danced all over the battle ring. He picked up some of the blood and shaped it into a javelin and throwed it at Blood. It went into his eye and came out the other eye, and Blood screamed. "How is that possible? Was it like a boomerang?" "OMG!" Blood roared. "Now you won't be able to see my wife's sexy bod." "Well, I don't know why she'd get naked now. They're not married yet." "This is the worst punishment," he sobbed, holding his hurty man thing. "For this, Dracus Yagami, you will pay." "Darkus Yagami, you will pay." I don't know why I said Dracus. They ran at each other and jumped. How would he know he's running in Dark's direction? Whatever. "What will happen?" "A fight will. Check it out." By the way, this was so epic that Sekira died of a heart attack. Then there was no point in saving him. Chapter 41, that's actually Chapter 44, The Mystery Deepers. "Sorry it's been a while, been planning out the big final. More twists coming, we will discover the mystery of the mustache." You state this, but then you're not sure. Blood was eating Kanye West for some reason, because it had been ages since the last chap. What? And he was dead hungry. Oh, you're breaking the fourth wall again. "And he was dead hungry, and blood bananas are a good snack, but he was too hungry, so he ate Kanye. And blood went everywhere, and blood licked it. I was going to make a toast joke, but I already made one." What, with an ear? I guess. "So instead, Kanye made blood dead fat, and he had to use Kanye's workout plan to lose weight again." I don't think he has a workout plan, but I don't know, since I don't really follow anything with Kanye West. Are you done? Sneered Dark, making his mouth all twisted and sarcastic. Or does the little baby want his food on an airplane with a bib? Why would you get on an airplane? How dare you insult the fine office of the king of the Shinigami? He wasn't insulting your office, he was insulting you, roared Blood, spitting out some bones and some feathers, 'cause he ate the runaway bird chick too. What? What? I don't even know what that's supposed to be. I will tear your nose out and turn it into a vase for the many spiky flowers that I purchased to romance your mega-chestacular wife, and you will sneeze forever because of the pollen. Secretly, Dark was dead hungry too, since he hadn't eaten anything earlier. But luckily, because Samantha had the giantest chests in the world, she also had, no, and no. She stated that she was a virgin. Women don't have milk in their boobs unless they have a baby. Nobody has fucked her and gotten her pregnant. She can't have milk in her boobs until she is pregnant. That is impossible. She also had all the milk in the world too, and Dark could drink it when he got thirsty. And this made Blood even madder because Dark got to touch her bouncy lumps. Yes, that's what I want my boobs to be referred as, bouncy lumps. Isn't that sexy, people? Author's note. I know this sounds gross and made up, but it's not. That's how chests work. We learned it in biology class. I know it's cool. No, that isn't how chests work. And you probably only paid half attention to it because you thought it would be cool to put into your fic. Girls do not lactate unless they're going to give birth to a baby. She is a virgin. They have not had sex yet. She is not pregnant. Unless she was lying about this crap, there is no possible way that she can squirt milk out her boobs at all. It had been so long that he was starting to grow a messy mustache. All right, enough eating. Let us combat violently once again for the universe. Blood pulled his arm bones out. Ow! He had sharpened them specifically for the occasion, because he knew somehow this fight would be taken to the Shinigami realm, and painted them gold for some reason, and stuck handles and skulls, and written naughty words like frick and fricker and fricking. That's all the same word, just in various stages of conjugation. On them for stronger because they were swear swords. Swears words. You could read that in either fashion. It's still stupid. He put his swear words over his head and stabbed it down into Dark's head, but missed. So then he actually didn't. He was aiming for Dark's head, but then Dark ducked or moved out of the way or something that involved not getting skewered. But I don't know how to say that when I'm writing a story, so I say he stabbed him, but then apparently he didn't stab him. That's good enough, right? Dark's head but missed and hit his foot instead. Oh, balls, yelled Blood, hopping over the ring holding his foot, nipping like Misa, getting a really good sexing, and everyone laughed 'cause it was funny. Now it was Dark's turn. While Blood was hopping like mad, Dark got Samantha to make him a special milkshake by shaking her milky bits. My milkshake is better than yours. My milkshake is better than yours. Okay, whatever. This was the hottest thing that had ever happened in the world, I'm sure, of the Shinigami, and the men Shinigami all died of sexiness. Well, I guess they can't repopulate their species. Oh, wait. The women all became lesbians. Well, they'd kinda have to. Ish. I mean, some of them would just remain celibate. Wait. And died too, for some reason. So then there would be no Shinigami left. They just all died somehow. Luckily, they were in the land of the Shinigami, so they came back but dead. That doesn't make any fucking sense, because they can't actually die like that. And then died again and again and again, but they couldn't stop looking. She said a spell as she wobbled her bumps, so it came out gold and glowing. She's peeing from her nipples, that's what she's doing. Instead of milk, it's pee. And glowing and dark drink it, ew. And it made him go like Super Saiyan. Still not spelled right. Except not 'cause this is a Dragon Ball Z. It was like that, though, 'cause he went blonde and could fly like Superman. Dark shouted real loud and a fireball came out of his mouth. Then he sneezed and 2 more came out of his nose, and they all hit Blood and set his mohawk on fire. "Oh, douche!" yelled Blood, dipping his head in a tub of water, because they have water in the Shinigami realm. Now he was bald, and everyone laughed even louder when they weren't dying. Imagine it, it's pretty funny. Not really. In revenge, he pulled his leg bones. He just pulled them, okay, which were actually cannons, and each one had the stinger of a bee the size of a tow truck in it. He fired, and the stingers hit Dark in each arm and nailed to the wall. The poison because they're now coated in poison somehow, the poison made his arms all stingy and sticky, but luckily he was strong enough to gargle all the poison out, which would be rather difficult since in your bloodstream, and spit it at Blood. It missed, but went past him and hit the Blood Banana Orchard. No, not my agricultural treasure land that was once the grassy home of the humble Blood Banana. Blood yelled as poison got all over them and turned them into poison bananas, made of poison. I cannot eat my beloved treasures now they have been befuddled with stingy poison. Serves you right, you prick. Samantha yelled, and this distracted Blood and made him look. I thought Dark stabbed his eyes out. Suddenly he saw her bouncers bouncing, and he was distracted. He got out his wings and flew to Samantha. "Hello, lady," Blood said, reaching at her and holding a rose made of blood. Where did he get that from? It was a messy rose, and blood went everywhere, but it's the fort that counts. Not really, considering she's married and he's kind of being an asshole. I say that is one nice milk oscillate thou have going on there. Yeah, well, you know what they say. Samantha punched Blood in the eyes with both hands somehow and sent him burning like a fireball back into the arena. Oh my god. Okay, so I can foresee the lame jokes. That or the story is just that sad. My milkshake brings all the Shinigami to the arena. Lame. No, roared Blood as he landed with a bump. Samantha jumped down and landed on him for some reason, and the weight of her chest made it feel like getting stomped by a freight train. There is no way she'd be able to move if her boobs were that big. Just saying. Also, my fighting is better than yours. Damn, as in electric dam, right, it's better than yours. Can you stop quoting the song? It got old like 5 minutes ago. Could you teach me? Said Dark, only as a joke, 'cause he knew all her moves, 'cause he taught them all to her on the long hot nights of hard battle training on the battlefield. Because you would be deployed to battlefields like mercenaries. But ID have to charge. Look up Kedis if you don't get it, but it's a song about warming up milkshake and using it to fill your yard with boys so they'll teach peeps how to make milkshake for money, I guess? You're referencing the song and you don't even know what it's about? It's about a girl having big boobs and that she shakes her boobs and she gets boys to come over there to fuck her. It's having sex with guys because She's got big boobs that she'll shake for them. Okay, let's just kick him instead. They both started kicking Blood, and he was rolling around in the dust, getting all dusty and yelling, "Ow!" Then they hit him in the man bits, which happened quite a lot since he used to his Shinigami powers to give him hundreds of them all over his body. When did he do that? Which was good for sexing the many Shinigami queens. Is that what female Shinigami are called? Is that why there's so many kings and queens? So Rem would be a queen while Ryuk is a king? But not so good for not getting punched. Then why don't you just use your Shinigami powers to take your penises away? Ha, not so strong now, are you? Said Samantha, and booted him in the mouth and made his vampire fangs fall out because he had vampire fangs. Ow, I needed those biters to devour the blood of the living virgins, which don't exist anymore because the world was destroyed and there's only Samantha left. Now I will have to be a vegetarian except you killed all the blood abanas. Too, for this there is no compensation. Shinigami don't need to eat. Shinigami eat simply 'cause there's nothing to do when they're bored. A Shinigami can't be a vegetarian. If the Shinigami is addicted to something, that could bother him until he gets over the withdrawal symptoms, as Ryuk explained and showed in the story with his apple addiction. But Shinigami don't need to eat. Blood slumbered to his feet and pulled out his ribs. He's going to be completely boneless, and he's going to be defeated because he took all the bones out of his body. They were all Wolverine claws. Not in his chest they wouldn't be. And he put them on his hands and began slashing like mad everywhere. Get it? Blood does slash. Considering he's never slept with anybody who identifies themselves as male, I find that hard to believe. One hit slashed Dark in the eyes and made him a bit short-sighted, so he had to wear glasses. Where did he get these glasses from, and why did Blood allow a timeout so he could get glasses? Dark got out his royal death note and wrote blood in it just in case, but it can't kill Shinigamis. But everything else can, apparently. Then he tried to trick Blood into killing another dude to save his life, like happened with the Chickley one, Misa, who death noted L and died, but that didn't work since there was no one left to kill. Clearly, Blood got the upper hand, literally, 'cause he took off his hand. It was a hand grenade. Get it? I'd be rather silly not to. Let me give you a hand. Oh, the puns. You are punny, sir. Blood roared and handed the hand to Dark. It exploded and the hand slapped him a few and flew back to Blood. How do you like that? I did not like it, said Dark truthfully, rubbing the slapped bit. That's the whole point of being slapped in the face. Well, there's plenty more where that came from, roared Blood. But that wasn't really true, 'cause there was only one hand left. But his other hand went back to him, so he should have both hands. Also, he somehow had like 20 hands and arms, so where did those go? He used the other hand on Samantha 'cause she felt sorry for it. She let it touch her chest bits and lady bits and got happy. Your husband's right there. I don't think he's going to appreciate that, and I thought you didn't like him, so why would you feel sorry for him? Oh, Blood! That is the best feeling I have ever had, screamed Samantha, as the hand danced over her like a mad dancer made of Blood having sex with the dance floor, which was her body in this case. Don't forget that Samantha was a virgin, and she didn't know what sexing felt like, because she never masturbated before. Dirt got all jealous. Blood, who was just a pathetic king. Yes, because the king of the Shinigami is pathetic. Just a pathetic king of all Shinigami was unflowering his own wife. Deflowering her means actually penetrating her. He's just touching her, because she feels sorry for him. I mean, yes, you have a right to be mad considering that's your wife, but still. Dark was so angry that he used his final attack and KO'd Blood right in the brain. Blood died, even though he'd, been dead before, and fell on the floor screaming, which would be impossible if he died. My brave young apprentice, Blood gasped. Come close to me, so that I can tell you the secrets of my people. 'Cause he couldn't ask any other Shinigami. Anything for you, my wise master, who alas became evil when we should have been best of friends and ruled this universe as one. Then you both would have been evil, whatever, cried Dark, getting on his knees and not noticing the evil grin splattered all over Blood's face because that would be really hard to miss. Come closer, my child. Of course. Mind and memory, nothing spell of the forgetting magic. That is really dumb, whispered Blood, even though he is apparently screaming it. Which were the magic brain rubbing words. So they're words that can rub his brain? Anyone who heard them got the brain all rubbed out and forgot who they were. If his brain got rubbed out, that means his cranium is empty. There is no brain in there. In fact, he's dead then, if that's how that works. No, yelled Dark. I have been tricked. I am forgetting things. In just 1 hour I will have forgotten everything. I must kill Blood before it is too late. And I must help, shouted Samantha. And I must not die so I can sex with Samantha and sample her luscious offerings, said Blood. Epic conclusion next time will be the last Dark Yagami ever, except there won't be one more after, but that's an epilogue, which is a thing that doesn't really count, and no one bothers reading them. But read this one, cause it will be epic. There will be a twist, don't forget. Something that nobody reads and doesn't really matter, but I'm gonna make sure I put a twist in it to make sure you read it. Chapter 42, that's actually chapter 45. The end has come, and a twist. Last part. This is a sad time, but a happy one, because I finally get to bring out the awesome twist. No, my brains are falling out, shouted Dark, but this wasn't really true, but it felt like that, cause his memories were oozing out of his ears. That's not how it works. Like goop out of a goopy thing. Help, I can't remember what happens. Samantha, give me the deets. Well, first you lived at Watari House, then you adopted back by the Yagami family cause you are Light's twin brother. I guess he told her all this, or she'd secretly been keeping up with the whole thing. You found the royal death note when you were exploring a cave, because that's a thing that happens, one day and became Akira, but there were loads of other Akira dudes. Then you got a royal death note, so now you have 2 of them. And were king of the world, and then a load of stuff happened. You forgot that he was king of the Shinigami, too, with a creepy dude, and then you killed everyone, and now you have to beat Blood once and for all. Dark got up. He could remember Samantha, cause she was the boobly lady, but not Blood. He pointed at the giant thing who looked like a bat covered in blood, and was the size of the sort of house a sort of rich but not very rich person would have. Is that Blood? It is my husband. Now go and kill for victory. Dark ran towards Blood with his fists out. Blood was almost dead from Dark's special attack, but he still had enough life force to deflect the attacks. You said he died. And the shockwave went out in all directions, and the world of the Shinigami began to splinter into a billion bits. So you're even destroying the Shinigami realm for some reason. Ha ha ha, you poor dude, trolled Blood as he smashed Dark in the head over and over. The force of the impact set Dark's hair on fire somehow, and the smoke and ashes turned it gray. That's not how it works. You cannot even remember why you fight me. I know that you were an evil dude, and that is enough. Dark spun his arms like windmills and did a double uppercut to Blood's chin. All his teeth broke out, but because he was a vampire, he's not a vampire, he's a Shinigami. They grew back again. You think I am evil? You poor deputed fellow. They never told you, did they? Told me what, you blood-bathed freak? I've been on your side all along. Samantha's is the evil one. What, wife, is this true? No, he is lying to tear us apart. How dare you, roared Dark. You're just going to take that at face value? And bit Blood really hard. Why would he do that? Blood didn't have blood inside, so instead custard came spurting out. Ew? Ow! Screamed Blood as his custard blood ran out. He, well, I may have died, but you, Dark, you cannot even remember your wife's name? That is not true, gasped Dark, and then Blood told him to search his feelings. And he did, and it was, her name is Sa. I cannot remember. Blood laughed and died for real, and his corpse turned into power-ups. Because that's what happens in the Death Note universe, because it's a video game. Didn't you know that? Sally, Sandra, Sandy, Sakura, Sarah, Salope? I cannot remember. With that, all the memories fell out of Dark's brain, and he went bam on the ground. Dark, screamed Samantha, and ran over. Not so fast, Missy, said the ghost of Blood, using his ghost powers to see through her. The magic spell made a bomb in Dark's brain. No? If he ever remembers who he is or who you are, his head will explode. Then shouldn't that have happened earlier when she was filling him in on his history? Then what should I do? Cried Samantha, sobbing tears of sadness. Invent a new life for him. There is a time machine in my palace. Use it and start again. Then Blood faded away forever to go to heaven, where there were all the blood bananas ever, and he was happy again. There is no heaven in Death Note. There is no hell. There's no purgatory or anything. It is an atheist setting. Samantha nodded bravely and carried Dark's memoryless body to the palace. There was something Blood didn't know. She and Dark had got pregnant while Blood was out cold. When did that happen? When did she have sex with what? This didn't happen. This is impossible. This didn't happen. You can't say it happened when it clearly did not. The months went by and Dark stayed in a coma, and Samantha had to feed him soup every day. If he's in a coma, he can't eat soup. He has to be put on a feeding tube. Her belly got bigger and bigger as the babies. How many babies does she have? Twins? Triplets? Inside got bigger also. She kept Dark in the kitchen because it was the one part of the palace that I thought they were supposed to use a time machine. One part of the palace that wasn't dead, but because Blood didn't eat much, it was mostly just blood bananas. While Dark ate all the soup, she had to eat Cheerios and soy sauce, which tasted gross. Author's note, I tested this and it does. Well, I don't like soy sauce either. One day before she gave birth, Dark woke up. Where am I? Who am I? When am I? Why am I? Why is that he wouldn't ask all this stuff at once. It would take a bit for him to realize he can't remember anything. He breathed, looking at his hands in amazement. He had spent many months asleep, and he was now gray and mustachy, and still wore glasses, and he was taller. How? After you hit maturity, you don't grow any taller. You are that height for the rest of your life. And also, she never shaved your face. My husband, Samantha said, then remembered the bomb. What did you call me? Questioned the dude who couldn't remember his name. Samantha looked at the bowl she had left on the side 'cause it was gross. Soy Cheerio Sorichiro. Wait, so her and Dark are their own parents. This is your grand twist? Really, this is your grand twist? Well, considering that he remembered castles and stuff, it kind of makes sense. In a dumb, stupid way, but it kind of makes sense. Soichiro, that sounds like a policemanly name. I will be a cop, he suddenly decided. He said and picked up a police hat from somewhere. What is my surname? At that moment, my Yagami woofed in. He wasn't dead after all. Apparently someone tried to say, but they didn't finish it off. Yagami, after the dog. How about you, wife? What is your name? How do you know that's your wife? Oh, right, because she said my husband. I am... screamed Samantha as she started to give birth. Get me to the hospital quick. And I guess that's why we never knew Light's mom's name. So she's going to give birth to the twins, which are actually Dark and Light. Oh, clever, I see. Get me to the hospital quick. There are no hospitals in the Shinigami world. How would he know this? Dark, who is now Soichiro, asked. He didn't ask that. He stated that. But I will help you know with my policemanly powers. 5 minutes later, I didn't want to write about the birth, 'cause that would be gross and it would be all screaming and blood. It also totally would not take just 5 minutes. It would take a couple of hours, if not maybe a few days. It depends on dilation and false labor and all of that crap. Soichiro looked at the babies because they were triplets. What will we name them, wife? Samantha looked at the happiest baby, who had light brown hair. This baby will be the light of the world one day, so I will call him Light. She picked up the other. And this one should be called Dark, so they match. She picked up the last. So they came out at night, so the last one will be called Night. She hugged the babies tight. Something clicked in Soichiro's memory. I know your name, Soichiro roared. It's the bomb in his brain started to beep. Forget my name, shouted Samantha, who didn't want her husband to explode. From now on, you can call me Light's Mom, because I never could think of a decent name for you. Come, let us go to the city and buy a house and have adventures. They all went to the time machine room, and Soichiro and Light's mom and Light and Dark and Night and Might all went to the past for adventures. Okay, so Might is actually Light, though I don't know how he got to the Shinigami realm, but okay. It's not over yet. Check out the epilogue. Coming soon. Epilogue 1. Who is Watari? Sorry it took so long, but this bit is long too, so it all works out okay. In the end, it's so long that I had to make it in 2 parts, like Deadly Hallows or Breaking Dawn. Oh my god, Bella is a vampire? I guess you didn't read the book, so you wouldn't know that crap. Except this will be even better than Harry Potter, I'm sure it will be, and Twilight put together, 'cause it will have 3 parts, 'cause I can't explain everything otherwise. It will be super long, so get a cup of tea or coffee, as it not as in, a drink that you would make in a coffee pot. Or hot choke. So I burned myself with a metal noose that I put in the furnace. Or hot water. Ew. And sit in a big armchair with a fire and a raven and some shit like that and enjoy. You are an amazing host, sir. In England, it was the past. Duh. Watari, he was the Britishly dude, remember? Because I totally forget. He had guns and a helicopter in the future, but it's not the future yet, so hold your horses. Sheesh. Was a lad. British for kid. Not really. And he was walking all over the place, 'cause the car was not invented yet, which is bullshit. The Queen went past in a huge coach with wheels made of diamond. I don't think that's possible. And horses made of robot parts, which would be impossible if cars aren't invented yet. And doors that were actually peeps she paid to stand in the door hole and block the wind, which was full of rain and snow and sleet and hail and all that wet stuff. It especially helped when she passed by people who didn't like her very much and tried to pee on her carriage. The wheels hit a puddle and went sploosh, and brown stinky water went everywhere and hit Watari and got him all wet. Brown stinky water. Somebody pooped in the toilet and did not flush, and then they splashed in it. Fantastic. We're back to Star Turds yet again. Gore blimey, that is the ruddiest last straw, he bellowed, jumping on his hat. I'm so sodding angry now. This day could not get any blast-founded worst. But the Queen heard him. She pushed the door open, by which I mean she pushed the dude off, and he fell in the puddle and went sploosh, and also made Watari even wetter. Watari Bumblesnoot. That's not his last name. The third author's note. Does Watari have a last name? Yes, actually. If not, I will make it Bumblesnoot. You've already made it Bumblesnoot, for some reason. She roared, smacking him upside the head with her big royal stick. You should have more respect to your own mother. Wait, he's a prince? You're not my mom, okay? Watari screamed so loud that even dudes in the future could hear him. I wish you'd never adopted me. So you're like Jenna, royalty by association only, and thus not actually royalty. When I am older, I will take my revenging, and the whole arsing world will fear the name of Watari Bumblesnoot. So that's why it was so important for you to become Queen of England. The Queen slapped him again, and he fell in the puddle and got all wet. He was already wet, twice over. She rode away on the wet, muddy road, splattering all the peeps who stopped to bow to her. They don't bow to her. They stand there and watch her pass by, whatever. Watari walked away, mumbling Britishly swear words like get and duffer and douchebag. Well, I don't know about get and doofer, but I know douchebag has something to do with cleaning lady bits. As loud as he could. Then there was a spat behind him. He looked over, and there was a book on the floor. What the heck does that mean? I hope it's not a book that kills dudes whose names are written in it. Winky face, smiley face. Meanwhile in Japan, nothing was happening right now, but in future Japan, a guy was in his apartment watching animes. His whole apartment was made of candy, and there was more candy in the fridge and a Mountain Dew. And maybe some Cheetos for when the guys came over to play D&D. Even though I am the smartest dude in America, which would actually be England, the guy said, I am glad that I am not a detective because that means I can watch my animes in peace. He laughed as the guy blasted another guy with magic powers. Yes, it is good that all crime was wiped out 1,000 years ago by that mysterious ancient Kira. That legend talks off. There was a knock, not like knocking, but a knock, on the door. The dude realized he was naked, because you would forget that, and super fat, 'cause all he did was watch TV and eat sugar, and there were bees in the walls making honey, so he ate a wall. They just made it again from honey. Actually, they'd make it from wax, but whatever. He put a t-shirt and some jeans on and karate chopped his way to the door. He has to karate chop to get all the bees out of the way. And then they get pissed and they sting the shit out of him, and hopefully he's not allergic to it. At the door was an old man with glasses and a mustache. He walked in and got bit by all the bees, so he had to start karate chopping. They didn't stop karate chopping, so just remember that they are karate chopping for all the rest of the scene, okay? Konnichiwa, that's not how you spell konnichiwa. The not naked dude sat in Japanish. It means hello. Well, technically it means good afternoon, but okay. Yo, the mustache man karate chopped. You said that they're karate chopping the entire scene, but you weren't going to write that, so I just needed to remember that they were karate chopping the entire time. Yet, you're still telling me they're karate chopping. Also, why is he speaking Japanese if he's in America and, well, American? I need you to help me fight crime. But there is no such thing as crime. That's not how you spell crime. Itakimatsu, the fat dude said, munching up his washing machine. Why would he be eating that? And why wouldn't itakimatsu be a separate sentence? It was also made of candy, so it's melted if you put water in it, so it was useless for anything other than eating. Then why did he buy it? There will be, my cleverly chum, there will be. And with that he vanished. The sweetie dude was shocked and ate his whole apartment for some reason, to make sure that the mustache dude wasn't hiding, but he was gone. In the 90s. It was the 90s in America. Everyone was watching Friends and listening to Nirvana and Backstreet Boys on records. Well, this is really when we started transitioning to CDs, but anyway. Well, depending on where in the 90s you are exactly. Friends is like, what, middle to late 90s? Nirvana was early 90s? Backstreet Boys... Oh, no, this is the Backseat Boys. I misread that. It's the Backseat Boys. My bad. They were more like late 90s, early 2000s. I hated boy bands when I was in school, so I'm not really sure. I just didn't really pay attention to them. My best friend at the time, though, she was obsessed with the Backstreet Boys, especially Howie. She named her cat Howard. I am not kidding you. And driving motorbikes and wearing leather jackets everywhere and being all slick and watching films like Ghostbusters, which is different from Ghostbusters, which is actually from the 80s, and Lord of the Rings, which actually was in the 2000s if I'm correct. There was no thing, as in separate words, as the internet yet. This is true until we get to about 96, 97, and then, it got really big in 2000s. Yet, so peeps had to download stuff from their TV instead. They didn't download stuff from their TVs. They ordered things from magazines and catalogs. A time machine appeared and stopped in the middle of the road. Which road? There are many roads in the entire world. A car crashed into it and smashed through and ended up in the past. We will learn more about the time machine in the future, but now it's the past again, so's dudes. Gore blimey, that is the second Rudy lastiest straw, Watari bellowed again, jumping to his feet. I'm so sudden angry now again. This day could not get any blasted confounded worse again. Then the car landed and hit the pedal. Well, you said it was brown and watery, so I wouldn't be surprised if there is piddle in the piddle. And splashed him again for the 4th time. Doc Brown. He has the same name as the white hair guy from Back to the Future, and he looks like him, but it's not him. It was just a coincidence. Got out. Little did he know, as a negative, his car had just been turned into a time car. Great Scott! It's just a coincidence, and yet he's saying this crap. He said 'cause he was in Scotland. No, we were talking about the Queen of England, so they should be in England. Get it? Sorry. You can have my car to make up for it, he said, giving Watari the keys. Watari looked at the guy, but he was too busy reading his book to see him. Where did you get the book from? Wouldn't your book be nasty and wet? And if he looked at him, how would he, not see him? There was nothing written in it but... Oh, right, the Death Note, I forgot. But he was reading it anyway, just to make sure. Then he saw the cover. It said, "The human whose name is written in this book will die." Rudy, what? Watari bellowed. His shout was even louder this time, and he became a man, because he wasn't a man already. I am so sodding angry that I want to blast kill you. Tell me, good sir, what is your bloodning name? I am Doc Brown. That's not how... No, it's Dr. Brown. It's Dr. Brown. The guy said. For some reason, he answered him when he said, I want to kill you. And Watari writ in the book with a feather 'cause it was the past. And the guy died. I see it works, Watari panted, stealing the dude's car despite the fact that he was going to give it to him for flashing him. I wish for every time a car went by on a rainy day while I'm walking to the store or the library or something, and they hit me with a puddle, that they just stop and be like, here you go, you can have my car. I'm sorry about hitting you with the puddle. I'll walk home. Bye. Don't worry about it. We'll meet each other at the courthouse tomorrow to exchange the papers and stuff, and I'll just give it to you as a gift. Now to become ancient Kira. How would you know that's a thing? Back in the 90s. What the bothering fiddlesticks was that? Samantha, who was now called Light's mom, because I still could not think of a good name for her, 'cause she was Light's mom. She had 3 happy babbies, Light, Dark, and Night, who were all happy, but their diapers were stinky, because she's too fucking lazy to change them. I do not know my loved whiff, Saritra, really dark, remember, but he doesn't cause blood wiped his brain. But this is a nice paradise. Let's live here. So they bought a house with all Saritra's police money and settled down, and Saritra got a job as a policeman, because he wasn't already working as a policeman. And Light's mom won baking competitions and got millions of dollars, because millions of dollars are offered at baking competitions. Did she have... It would be more like she became a successful chef. That would make more sense. Like Cat Cora or something. Then one day the doorbell said ding dong, and they opened it to find a man with a mustache. What do you want? Saritra spat in the guy's face, 'cause he was dead angry for some reason, 'cause he had been sexing with Samantha, and she was the sexiest non-lesbian woman on the planet, because only lesbians are sexy. Also, that was your only reason to be having sex with your wife, is because she's the only sexy woman who isn't a lesbian, for some reason. Samantha knew the dude, as in a new shiny car, was Watari, but she could not tell Saritra cause of the brain bomb. Goodest of days to you, mine finest of sirs. He Britished up so hard that all the grass in the garden went into a British flag for some reason, and the birds started singing God Save the Queen for some reason. I am the headmaster of a shiny new boarding school, as in it bores you to death, in the area, and I want your 3 lads to become my apprentices. Oh, sorry, dude, Saritra said, smashing a towel into Watari's face to mop away the spit. Yes, that sounds like a good idea. What are your monies? Okay. £100 a year. British money. I cannot afford that. As in A number 4. Saritra said back sadly. Give me a second. I'm going to do some conversion. Okay, so, I can't actually check because the thing I have on my computer actually apparently needs to be connected to the internet, and I don't have the internet, so it's not something I can check. But apparently, now I don't remember which way this goes, but it's either you take however much it is in dollars and double it, and that's how much it is in pounds, or you take the pound and double that, and that's how much it is in dollars. But I'm going to assume that it's you double dollars to equal how much it is in roughly pounds. So £100 a year. I'm assuming this includes all 3 kids. That's just 50 American dollars, not including each kid getting an allowance for food and school books and clothes and and things like that. I was going to say in transportation, but they wouldn't need transportation to get to the school because they basically live on the school grounds. So they would probably, like, maybe, transportation to take them to the mall or something, on the off day, to get, personal things, like if they wanted anything. But anyway. British money. I cannot afford that, Saritra said, back sadly. I spent all my cash on this house. Well then, who is your stupidest kid? Light, Saritra said back straight away. He's a thick dude. They're babies. How do you know this? Has tried to marry the TV this one time, and another time he drew his face on the toilet and called it Fart Yagami. Uh-huh. Even though he is a baby and they need their diapers changed. That is mega sodding daft. Author's note, British for stupid. Not really. Watari screeched back. We don't want him, 'cause he would just stink up the place. Okay, I can send the other two. I thought you didn't have the money. Excellent, Mr. Burnsid. There is just condition. Anything, Light's mom gasped. Anything? She had never seen Watari when he was this young, and he was an incredibly handsome dude without his super aginess. She writ his name down in her sex note, which she has somehow, which wasn't a real sex note, but just a book of dudes to have sex with, to totally cheat on my husband. Until now, it had just one name in it, Dark Yagami, which she had to cross out and write Saritaro instead. You have to not tell Light just in case he becomes evil or something. Will do, Saritaro saluted like a police dude. Why would she allow this to happen without saying anything? She knows the future. Come along, kiddies. He gave Dark and Night to Watari, who grabbed them and stuffed them into a box named Boring Stuff Do Not X-Ray. I don't remember. Why did we give up Dark for adoption anyway, for some reason? Also, Night was a clone of Dark. So apparently she's not really a clone of Dark. She actually is their sister, or did we decide to change this origin story as well? Where are Dark and Night going, Daddy? Because a baby can talk. Light, who is still a baby, because he can talk as a baby, asked, trying to punch himself in the mirror. Why would he do that? To a magic school, son. Is it Hogwarts, Dad? How would he know what that is if he's a baby? Saritra looked at Watari. Is your school Hogwarts? It's not freaking Hogwarts, he screeched back. Man, I don't care then, Light said, and started butting the mirror in case he was a mirror vampire. Yeah. They went to the airport. The airport men were suspicious because a strange boy who spoke old-timey had said that there would be an old man with some kitties and he was evil. Are you the evil man? They asked Watari. They didn't know it was him 'cause it was the 90s and he wasn't old yet, so he fooled them. Not really, and they would search everything except for carry-on. And you still have to put anything you're going to carry on in the x-ray machine. No, my Gordon Minute, Watari said back. Are there kids in your box? How would they know that? Why would they even ask that? All the security dudes said at the same time because they all had the same idea and it smelled of babies. It's not how you spell babies. No, it's a chest of befouled nappies. Author's note. British for diapers. Why would you have that, and why would you be taking it with you onto a plane? They all said ew and decided not to look in 'cause diapers were gross. Well, especially if they're used, yeah, they'd be gross. The plane went whoosh in the air, and they whooshed down again at Wales International Airport. They got out, and Watari went to his house. There were a bunch of kids there, and here's their deets. Mellow! He was eating chocolate, and he sometimes put on a dress for some reason, and called himself Lady Gaga for some reason. And he was world famous as the best singer who ever sang a song, for some reason, about poker faces, and his papa, who was called Ratsy, cause he was actually a rat with a human brain. Chaos! He had a bunch of robot girlfriends who were all called Karen, and Katasha, and Chloe, and Kim, and all that lick the Kardashians, cause one day they would get super famous or something and be on TV or something. We're not really sure. We didn't watch that shit when it was on TV. He owned Ratsy, and this meant Mello was his slave, because his father, who is actually a rat with a human brain. Right. Samantha, she would grow up to be Light's mom, but right now she was just a kid, and she solved really hard maths. Puzzles like E equals MC squared, or in this case MC2, and Sudoku, and Pythagoreans. She also committed incest with her son to give birth to her son, her other son, and her daughter, who's actually supposed to be a clone of her son that she marries. Right. And despite knowing the future in crap, does nothing to change it. To change the outcome of anything. Cool dude. At the moment, he was called Uncool Dude, because he had spots, and didn't know how to spell cool yet. I kept writing uncool instead. Either he's stupid, or you think that's clever. Matt, 'cause it was the 90s, and he was playing Pokemon Red on his Genesis? No, he wouldn't be playing that on his Genesis. And got a high score, and court Mewtwo. I don't think the game scores you that I remember, but you can court Mewtwo, so he's dating a Pokemon that's not interested in the human race and wants to clone Pokemon. Okay. Nier, everyone hated him, so he was tied in the corner and gagged and kept trying to shout, but all he said was beyond birthday. It was never his birthday, so he was sad. That was kind of dick of whoever thought that he should never have a birthday. Roger, he was not a kid, but he was the caretaker, and all he said was, "I hate children," all the time, and laughed like an evil man, and didn't give them some more at meal times, and did creepy things with his dog. See the other story, I forget which for the deets, because sometimes I don't go back and reread my stories. Or maybe I'm the only person who actually does that. "Welcome to your new home," they all sang like happy birthday, except Birthday, who cried at the birthday, and Nier, who sang, Very interesting, Dark said, making his eyes look evil. Now what will happen next? Find out soon, discover how Dark became Kira and why everyone hates Nier. Which apparently they still hate Nier, and you haven't given a good explanation for that. And the strange origins. That's totally not how you spell that. What of Watari Bumblesnoot? The Death Note universe has never been this real, as in film. If you forgot who these dudes were, check out my Twitter, Real Dark Yagami, which explains it all. Then read it again, 'cause it's so good.